let's do that, and then we will move on. So I divide by x squared, okay? So x over x is 1, right? Plus, what is y over x? It is opposite over adjacent. Opposite over adjacent is 10. Is equals to r over x. R over x. We don't have r over x, we have x over r. What is x over r? It is adjacent over hypotenuse. It is cos. What is the reciprocal of cos? It is secant. Okay? So this equals sec squared theta. So this is the second square theta.
We're getting me this teacher.
So basically, we begin here by just looking at the Pythagoras theorem. We look at the squares, but there's a big thing coming if we listen and understand well, because this is just now the application. Trigonometry is actually your grade 8 and grade 9 mathematics. Right? Well, let's move on to science. Now, in science, there are quite a number of very interesting things. And the good thing is that we are few, so I don't need to shout. I actually can shout, but I won't. So, so you are trying to move from Jeffreys Bay, and you are going to Cape Town. So if you are traveling at 120 kilometers an hour, you are traveling at a speed that is allowable on the South African road. So if you're traveling at 120 kilometers an hour, there is no direction except for the fact that you know where you are going. And because you have 120 kilometers an hour, you know that you are covering 120 kilometers in 1 hour. Okay? And because there's no direction, this becomes a scalar quantity, right? Yeah. So it's a scalar quantity. Now, if I travel at this speed, at 120 kilometers, and I don't need petrol, and I don't need a comfort break, it takes me 10 hours to get to Cape Town. 10 hours. But if I fly at 840 kilometers an hour, I am covering 840 kilometers in 1 hour. Then it takes me 1 hour, 10 minutes to get to Cape Town. As I increase my speed from 120 to 840, what happens to my time? It decreases, because our speed is inversely proportional to our time. As you increase one quantity, the other quantity decreases. It is then that we get our formula: speed is equals to distance over time. Because as you increase this quantity, this one decreases. Now, if I travel at the speed of light, which is 300,000 kilometers per second, not per hour, not per hour, per second. I cover 300,000 kilometers in a second. In a blink of an eye, I've moved 300,000 kilometers. If I travel at this speed, I will leave Jeffreys Bay today and get to New York yesterday. Crazy, eh? So if you travel at the speed of light, according to Albert Einstein, you emit light. So if you travel at the speed of light and you emit light, you are traveling at the speed of the thing that gives you time. Therefore, you defy time. So if we didn't have watches and we went outside and we stood in the sun, we could be able to tell what time it is by just looking at our shadow. So this watch that we have is actually a duplication of what we already know. But most of us, because we grew up in this age, we don't know how to tell time except 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock is easy, right? Because our shadows are just underneath our feet. But if we travel at the speed of the very source of time, we defy time. And therefore, time has no control over us. But this doesn't make sense for somebody who's like, no, I can hear what you're saying. Theoretically, that is correct. But how do you get there yesterday? So, this is the sun. It is shining. And this is Earth. And here is South Africa. And here's Jeffreys Bay there. This is the US. And here's New York there. The relationship that the sun has with South Africa is different from the relationship that the sun has with New York because of the rotation and the revolution around its axis, right? Therefore, it means that if you are saying it is morning here, you can't be saying it is morning there, right? So we are 7 hours ahead of New York because of the time zones. If we are 7 hours ahead of New York, it means when you woke up this morning, they are 7 hours behind you. You are waking up at 5 on Friday. What's the date today? It's the 2nd. They are on Thursday at 10 in the evening on the 1st of August. They are about to sleep. You have woken up. But there's another country here. It is Australia. And this is Adelaide. They are 8 hours ahead of us. So when you are waking up, it's 1 o'clock. In Adelaide, they are having lunch. But somebody is still in Thursday and 10 o'clock. So if you travel at 300,000 kilometers per second, you can go to New York, which is yesterday, go to tomorrow in Australia and come back to today. So if you had your birthday today, say on Thursday, you could have your birthday on the 1st, enjoy it, go to sleep, wake up in the morning and go to New York and have your birthday again. And it would still be the 1st, and then go to tomorrow and come back to today. Well, that is only if you travel at 300,000 kilometers per second. Now, this is a very fascinating theory, and we are talking about the special relativity theory, right? Please look it up when you have time. And the specific theory is known as the wormhole theory. Wormhole, not black hole, eh? Wormhole. Now, the very interesting thing is that if you have the sun shining there on South Africa, in South Africa there's a plant, and that plant has a leaf. In that leaf there's a cell. Inside the cell, there is a cell organelle known as the chloroplast. And inside the chloroplast is a cell pigmentation known as the chlorophyll. And the chlorophyll is green in color. And when it ripens, it stops being a chlorophyll, it becomes a chromoplast because it gives the other different colors in the plant. But the chlorophyll actually only absorbs from the spectrum, you know the spectrum, orange, beam, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Remember those? It only takes from here up until this, but it loves blue. So if you look at the process of photosynthesis, the chlorophyll inside the chloroplast, which is inside the cell, which is inside the leaf, only takes these colors, but they are absorbed in different wavelengths by that cell organelle. And the process is a reaction because the plant takes water from the ground. And you know, when you take water from the ground, we use the roots. There's a capillary pool, there's a adhesion force, and the water is drawn from the ground and it goes up with the minerals. And the leaf underneath has got openings or pores that takes carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. And then the sun, can I remove this? And then the sun facilitates a reversible reaction, let's say radiant energy, because that's the energy coming from the sun. And you have a product which is a carbohydrate, and it is C6H12O6, and then the oxygen. So this is your product of photosynthesis. But please be careful, it's not always C6H12O6, because when you say C6H12O6, it is glucose. Sometimes it is another carbohydrate, so it's better to write it like this, CXHYOZ, so that you can be able to substitute those. This could be 1:2:1 at all times. This could be C12, H24, and O12. The ratio is 1:2:1. And then the oxygen that we breathe in. But before I get abstracted and too detailed in this, my point is that the sun gets to the earth, to the leaf, after 8 minutes. 8 minutes. In physical science, we are breaking the barriers of time. We travel at the speed of light, and we get to New York yesterday. In life science, the sun takes 8 minutes to get to the plant. What is happening here? The scientists say the same thing. If the life scientist takes 8 minutes for the light to get to the sun, to the plant, and in physical science, we break the barriers of time, and we get there yesterday. Well, let's use mathematics to assist us. That's where we began. So, what is the formula? The formula is speed is equals to distance over time. What is speed? Our speed is 300,000 kilometers per second. What is our time? 8 minutes. Find distance. I'm giving you 3 minutes. That's why you have that piece of paper to do the calculation, so that you can qualify for a gift. How am I doing for time?
She's saying 15 minutes, so you can do your career.
And we're cutting it short because of today. Speed 300,000 kilometers per second, time 8 minutes. Find distance. And maybe next year I will come teach you next year. Just stop and by teaching Mr. Morris. Have you got it? Have you got it? Not yet. Have you got it? Not yet?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Have you got it? Okay. So in science, no one is wrong. No one is wrong. You just make a mistake. You are not wrong. You make a mistake. And the common mistake I've seen is, you see, I'm saying the common mistake is because most of the people I've seen have made the same mistake. So I can make a scientific guess that the others will make the same mistake. You know the mistake you have made is the mistake of using minutes and seconds in the same calculation. It's 8 minutes. It's kilometers per second. So you can't use minutes per second. You see that? Okay. So it means, therefore, if it is 8 minutes, it's 8 minutes. We want an equivalent to seconds.
It's for 80.
So, excellent. Why for 80? What did you do?
I multiplied it by 60.
Why? Why?
60 seconds.
All right. But why? You know what I'm doing to you? I'm actually trying to get to whether you understand why you multiplied. Because if we just multiply, then it's because we know we have to. But you know why you have to. Okay? Excellent. But why are you making it bigger? I sound like that 5-year-old, right? Why? Because that 5-year-old is actually a scientist and they are not going to accept things that you tell them without asking why. Now, if you are saying minutes and seconds, which one is bigger? Minutes is bigger than seconds, right? So if minutes are bigger than seconds and I've got 8 for minutes, is my answer going to be bigger than 8 or smaller than 8? Bigger. Because you are increasing from 8. So if you are going to divide, the answer you are going to get is going to be smaller than 8. So that's why you multiply. And that is why we multiply this 8 by 60 and we get 480. So what do we have? We have 300,000 kilometers per second equals distance over 480 seconds. We know what's going to happen there, right?
Yeah.
So this times that, distance equals 144 million kilometers. So the distance between the sun and the earth is 144 million kilometers. That's why it takes 8 minutes. But if you are talking about time travel, it's the same planet. You're just moving from this side to that side. And that's why you can break the barrier of time. Now I'm going to disappoint you. No scientist has been to the future. No scientist has been to the past. We all live in the present. It is only mathematically true that we can travel in time. And this wormhole theory, which is derived from the special relativity theory, is only mathematically proven, but no one has done it. And then the good news is that the next scientist who's going to take us to the future is actually sitting right here. But that person has got to be exceptional. And all of us have got a gift in terms of exceptionalism. All of us are actually good at something. And we just need to remove all the noise around us and focus on our gift. Have you ever noticed that there is no one who can do what you do best? When you do something, people are like, oh my God, you make this look easy. How many of you watch soccer? Do you enjoy it? Just watch it. So there's a man called Messi. And there's a game where he plays and he does things and you watch him, he has a ball, it's almost like glued to his foot. And you're like, my God, he makes it look easy. And when you go to the field and you try to do what he does, you fall almost immediately. And you're like, but how does he do it? It is because he focuses on his craft. There is just so much work that goes into that we don't see. How many of you know Ronaldo? And the guy is big, hey? But he does things as if he's petite. I mean, Messi is small, he's petite. And you look at that, you know, it's his advantage. He has got, you know, the bracket and he's short, so he can do. And you have another guy who is big and fit, and he runs as if he is 6'2". He is focusing on his craft. How many of you listen to hip hop? Rap music? No one, okay? I will not use that example then. The other kinds of music, actually, I don't know. So I will leave the music. How many of you watch Cinderella? Exactly. Have you noticed that since, what was his name? The old man left. Obas. Have you noticed that there was a gap? I mean, Obas would come into the room and, you know, you would laugh even if you did not know Afrikaans because he has his way of communicating with people. And since he left, everything is dramatic. Like people are dying. I've never seen people dying on Sutherland. And these days, absolutely. So I'm saying his gap is obvious. And it's because, you know, when he is there, you're like, okay, but when is he retiring? I mean, we've been seeing this face for a long time. But then he leaves and you see his gap. It's because he was good at what he did. He would come in when we were stressed by somebody and would come in and, hey, come here, my darling, and he would start doing his poetry. And we would like, because he focused on his craft. You have got a gift in you. But if you close down all the noise, you know, the WhatsApp, you know, the Facebook, you know, the TV and friends, I'm not saying don't have them, but close them up for 8 hours. And you can see them after 8 hours and have fun. But you can't do two things at the same time. How many of you cook? Almost everybody, even those whose hands are not up, they do their own ends. But have you noticed that when you are cooking and your phone rings, you can't do both at the same time? You're like, okay, let me finish this, turn it off, then take the phone. And then you take the phone and you are watching, but you are not cooking, you're focusing on the phone. Now, what we do is that we'll have the phone here, it is on. Our friends see that we are online, but you are studying at the same time. You're like, she's going to. You are not concentrating. You are just watching the words, and in the process, you are not mastering anything. And when that message comes in, you leave the book and you respond to this one. And then you come back, you must start from scratch. Because where was I? Okay, I was. So if you focus on one thing, there's just no way you will not master it. The country is waiting for you. You guys are the future. In fact, the future is now. Where you are sitting right now, no one can be able to sit the way you sit. No one can smile the way you smile. And no one can write the way you write. What you need to do is to make sure that you master what you do so that society can be able to benefit from your gift and skills. Have a good day.
Dan gaan ons nou die met Amelie.